Today I'll be showing you our setup. Specifically, I'll be talking about how our Toyota Tundra pairs with our Scout camper and the changes we've made to make it a little better together. This video is really focused for people that already own a Toyota Tundra and are looking to see at how it will handle a Scout camper. For those that don't currently have a truck or camper, I'd recommend getting a truck in the 2500 or 3500 class. It will be able to handle your camper a lot better without any modifications, and when shopping for a camper, you'll have a lot more options to choose from because you won't be narrowed down to just picking from a lightweight camper setup. For our truck, we have a 2021 Toyota Tundra, the double cab with the limited and off-road package. This truck has the larger gas tank, which we really enjoy for longer trips. The gas tank on this truck is a 38-gallon tank. The stock tank is 26.4 gallons, and this is not an aftermarket option. This is an option from the factory from Toyota, but not all the Tundras have it. We have a 6.5-foot bed, and it's the perfect size for our camper because we can still close the tailgate. Our camper is a 2020 Scout Olympic, and we have a handful of modifications to it. We have 2 heaters, a ceiling fan, we have a custom battery setup, but that's not what this video is about. If you want to see more of that, I'll post links to those videos that we've made in the description of this video. We bought our camper used in May of 2023, and I actually rented a Crew Max Tundra from our local airport to go pick it up because it was 9 hours away, and we didn't have this truck at that time. The tires on that rental truck weren't new or a notable brand or anything, and you could definitely tell once I put the camper on the back, so before my drive home, I added a decent amount of air to the rear tires. Now that truck handled it fine, it was okay, but I realized on that drive home that I really wanted a truck where the camper would fit completely in the bed and not be hanging out at all. For the first 6 months, we used the camper with the truck with no modifications, and it worked fine, but once we no longer had our 4Runner setup, we knew we wanted to do some changes to the truck to make it handle the camper a little bit better. Here is a photo of the first time we took our truck camper out for our first camping trip. And we had a good time, but you can see the back of the truck is a little bit low. So that leads us into our first modification. First thing we did was add airbags to the rear suspension along with cradles. And that really helped level out the back of the truck. And that same weekend where we installed those, we also added a big rear sway bar from Hellwig. And that really helped a lot to keep the truck camper from rocking the truck bed back and forth just a tiny bit. Before we did any modifications, we did a trip to Acadia National Park, and we drove up Cadillac Mountain, and our friends were behind us and they videoed the camper, and you could slightly see the camper rocking back and forth. And I'll include a little video of that just so you can see what I'm talking about. You might not be able to see it, but you could kind of feel that happening if you're going up a steep incline on certain roads. I'll include some video of us installing the rear sway bar. You can see it back there, and you can kind of see the airbags up there, but they really help a lot, and I really would recommend these. Second thing we did was get new tires for the truck. Got BFG K02 tires, an E rating, stock size, and they work really well in all conditions, and so far on all of our trips, they've supported the camper quite well. Next thing we did was add a rubber bed mat. You might have to get a little bit closer to see it. You can see it's under the camper. It's not that thick, but it just helps the camper not slide around. And another thing we did back here was we added a power tailgate lock. So now once I close the tailgate, it will also lock with the key fob, and that was not a standard feature on our Tundra. Back here near our license plate is where we added the fill up for our airbags, and we just thought this was the most convenient place to put them. A few more things we've done back here. If you come in and look over here, you can see we added an in-bed 7-pin connector. This just powers the marker lights for the camper, and it's very convenient because now we no longer have to have the little wire draped over the tailgate. The other thing back here is we drilled a hole through our truck bed, and that way we can have a full-time sink drain. If you want to come in and you can show them. We just have a little rubber hose going down through there, and it comes out underneath the camper down here. It is really nice having a full-time sink drain. We are really careful about what we drain down the sink. Depending on where you are, there's different laws about what you can do and where you can dump things. Last big modification, which has been very helpful, especially on long trips, was add wiring from our alternator to charge the battery that's in our camper. If you look in here, you can see our fuse holder is tacked right on to the fuse box. It's an 120 amp fuse, and we put this nice wire loom on all of the wire. If you follow it, it goes down over to this section of the engine bay, down through a hole, comes out. You can kind of see it in this wheel well down here, Then it goes underneath, next to the frame, and back up in this section. And it comes out right up here. And this is what our quick disconnects look like. I will put a link to all these things in the description of this video. This has been very helpful, and I'll actually do a test right now. I'll turn the truck on and I'll show you how many amps we get from the alternator when the truck is just in idle. Here is the app that goes with our battery. SFK is the brand. SunFun kits. It's a 300 amp hour battery in total, so you can see it's almost full. Currently, we're getting 11.5 amps of input just from the truck idling at 1100-ish RPMs. But when we're going on the highway at a higher RPM, I've seen this go up to 20 to 24 amps. So that really helps charge up the battery, especially on long drive days. We just have the stock alternator. We haven't messed with that at all. I know there's aftermarket brands that sell high output alternators. Maybe we would do that down the road, but right now we don't really need it. For those wondering about our numbers, our gross vehicle weight rating is 7,100 pounds, and specifically our payload is 1,300 pounds. The Scout weight with factory options is 1,280 pounds. The next time we stay at a rest area, I'd like to weigh our setup on a CAT scale to see what our total weight actually is. This past summer, we went on a road trip to Colorado and Utah and went to some camp spots that involve some semi-rough roads. And I will show you some video clips of that so you can see how the truck handled. After taking our truck and camper a good amount of places, we still recommend this setup and we've been very happy with it. This summer, we plan on going on a road trip to Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho. And before that, sometime this spring, we'd like to add a brake kit from PowerStop, and that's just going to be changing out our rotors and pads. I hope this information and sharing our experience helps someone out with their camper search. And as always, thanks for watching.